a Colton pickup going to Temple, Texas that I believe somebody else dropped off of for whatever reason. Maybe he had a truck problem or something, I don't know. But it was a 6 a.m. pickup this morning. Yeah, it's due to the I hate these base station guys. Anyway, it's due the 14th at 7:30 in the morning. Normally I'd be going straight across 10, but I do want to go by my house and get my SD card for my interior camera. So I'm gonna take the little bit longer route. So like I said, the quick route is to take 10 over to over in between Fort Stockton and Ozona, Texas. Somewhere in that ballpark, and then take 190 to cross over to Colleen. Yeah, through Colleen to get over to Temple. But I said I'm gonna go and take a different way though. So I can stop by the house and I don't have to run I don't think I'll have to run too many miles. We'll figure this out here though. Let me get this at least public so you guys can come online and hang out and watch. Fontana, let's see, California to public. Oh, I'm done. No, not made for kids. Yes, save it. Okay, and then we'll get my trailer washed out. Didn't want to do that until I knew which direction I was going. I already have, I'm already ready to go. I already got the buddy code for it. Okay, so come on. Yeah, so 7:30 a.m. delivery. 1,335 miles, so really, yeah, I can easily be there well in advance. So even if I take I-40, it shouldn't be a problem at all. All right. These arranged. So I can put my drink in a cup holder. Doing, who's that? Sinta? Is that a Turkish name or something? It's not those aren't Latin words, so. But the way the words look, kind of looks like it could be like Turkish or something. Where are you from? All right. Focal Point Friday. What do we got? Hope each of you are doing well this morning. Today is the last day of the 72-hour road check inspection blitz. Make sure you have all proper registration and documents needed in case you find yourself going through an inspection. For any needed permits, you can get with Angela at 6652. COVID-19 affected the country, majority of our customers have implemented mandatory protocol while visiting their properties, including social distancing and masks. be sure that we're complying to their guidelines to enhance the safety of both you and the customer employees. Many of you today are likely reflecting on where you were 19 years ago, what you were doing, and how your life was changed that day. Today is a day of remembrance for those that lost their lives and for all those who gave their lives. Remember and we'll never forget. Thank you for it. Alright. Okay. Hola. Okay, honey. Oh, okay. Sinta, you're from Kyrgyzstan. Alright, honey, I'm gonna fill you in on what's going on here. I'm gonna head over to get my trailer washed out. Alright. Let's see what this guy's doing. Alright, so I'm going to be covering some, I guess a pickup that somebody was not able to do. I don't know, maybe their truck broke down or who knows. But it was due for pickup at 6 a.m. today. I got plenty of time on it. It's not even 1,400 miles. So, but it's going to Temple, Texas. And I do want to stop by the house so I can at least hang out for a little bit and then get the SD card for my other dash cam, whatever else. So probably head over to the house and then figure out if I can do a 10-hour break there and then run overnight or something. I'll evaluate on the miles and hours and stuff what I need when I get up there. This load I would have normally been going across I-10, but because it has enough time on it, and like I said, I do want to stop by the house. The plan is to bring it up to the house first and then take maybe go across I-40. Now, it might even still be shorter to, well, I don't know if I'll take 10 or 40. We'll see which way is quicker from the house. Stop up here on the other side of the 10 and get my trailer washed out first, and then we'll head over to Colton to get the load picked up. Hopefully it's ready. I was at Cowboy Burgers here in Fontana. For anybody not really sure where the hell I'm at. It's in Fontana, California. Just a little bit southeast of where I-10 and I-15 meet up. And I'm heading toward I-10. I won't be getting on I-10. I'll be crossing 10 and then turning right onto Valley Boulevard. And then I take Valley down to where the truck wash is at. Morning, Corey. I love how it's like a 50, 55 zone through here, but I can't even do 35. Darn lights. Darn traffic. I'd say chances are I'm going to need to get the registration document for whatever trailer I end up picking up printed. I had to post a reminder post in our company Facebook group. Hey guys, you guys need to be checking this stuff. Now, I've done 3 swaps in September alone, and every single case I've had to get the trailer documents printed up. because they weren't previously done, and they were enforceable starting on July they expired July 1st, and they became enforceable on September 1st. This until I know I can get my entire tractor through that gap there. Yep, looks like I can. Let's see if the idiot behind me figures it out though. Nope, he's going right on through. I don't think he's going to have room to get clear of it. Yeah, see, that's why you don't freaking pass the damn keep clear zone until you know for sure you can get out of it, dumbass. This guy over here just passed me on the left. That's the one who did it. Just had. It just got stolen by a dock worker at U.S. Foods. Let's see, that's what sucks here. That blue Mustang there got a little bit confused, thought I had a red light and they were getting ready to go. But I was only stopping because I couldn't clear the intersection. Don't enter an intersection that you cannot get out of. It's actually illegal too. Alright, does this lane go through, or I forget? I want to say it's 3 lanes here. Nope. Yeah, it'd probably be about another hour before I even get over to Colton. Or, well, no, not an hour, but at least an hour before I leave Colton, and then it'll take me another hour to get home. So, yeah, I'll just, yeah, maybe if Kelly's around, she can maybe have her pick me up or something if you're busy teaching still by the time I get there. That's all assuming the load's already ready for pickup, though. It's really hit and miss in Colton. Sometimes the loads are ready early, sometimes you're waiting for several hours before it's ready, so you can't make any promises that I'll be able to pick it up immediately and get it moving. Probably have that piece of shit auto shift transmission in your truck too. Yanli Group Incorporated. US dot 2113447. My child destroyed the bed trying to find a notebook. beat the shit out of whoever designed that transmission. It sounds a lot like my aircraft maintenance days. I used to always, as an aircraft mechanic, bitch about the stupid designs that the engineers would come up with. Like, what kind of moron did this? Or, you know, they don't think about us at all, or come up with these elaborate ideas just to kind of as a joke to see who can outdo each other with the more creative design or something. It's like, you ever heard of KISS? Keep it simple, stupid. Even stuff that is supposed to be maintenance friendly, there's still stuff about them like, what the hell were they thinking? Okay, like on C-17 aircraft, the emergency backup control cables for which system was it? The elevator or rudder? One of those two systems that goes into the T-tail. I forget which one it was, but in the cargo compartment by the wing root, there are some turnbuckles there. You know, so if you have to adjust the cables, you know, for tension or alignment, whatever, they're right behind a little, like some bracket. And like, what dipshit put it right there? Why not put it in a spot where it's easy to get to and not have to finagle around a stupid bracket to get to it? Like, some people don't think, do they? Yeah, which is odd because that aircraft particularly is very well built for, you know, wonderful. So this oversized wants to make the right turn, but this white van is in the way, and now nobody can make the turn. And just auto shift just makes people stupid and lazy. It's one thing that if you have I don't know, to me it's alright if you have a medical condition or something that makes it difficult for you to continue to drive a vehicle with a manual in it, but too much automation tends to cause people to get lazy and rely on shit to do their job for them that they really should be doing themselves. Alright, his little sister's truck wash. Gotta get a trailer wash out. This belly dump guy going into the... Yeah, he's got to wash out too. Stay right here until wait until the washout lane clears out. I gotta leave space for people to drive past over here to the fuel island if they want to. Heard of it, but we're about to get fired, so came up with something stupid that will keep them employed longer. There you go. I look like the line's moving here.
Chris, are you in the washout line?
Yeah, trying to keep the lane clear for anybody who wants to go to the fuel island.
Which one's the washout line?
The one that I'm in. There's a fuel island over there past you. If you come in right behind me, you're going to block people from getting to it.
this Stevens?
The one that JCT is in, I'm the JCT driver. I'm in the washout lane.
Alright, thanks.
Alright. Alright. You fixed it. I'm having a bad pain day. I love my stick, but it hurts. Yeah. Were you able to get on the elliptical yesterday, though? At least, as you said that it does help you with some of your pain. Alright, I gotta do... set up my EFS check for my washout here. Stevens, I bet you're going to Colton after this, aren't you? Got on for 15 minutes. Okay, so you run higher RPM or kind of more normal? I'm sure the higher pain level too, you're probably a little more limited on how fast and long you can go until you a little bit better. And maybe get Nathan to work your spine there over by your hip and pelvis area. Yeah, that always seems to help you out. Gotta go, okay. Alright, we'll see you when I get up there. Okay. In line for washout, then we'll line to WCC. Okay. Let's figure out how many miles it is, or which route is going to be the ideal one to take if I do decide to go from the house to Temple. Because I don't know if going from the house would be faster to go across 10 or to go up to 40 and across and then work my way down from there. Distribution, come on. Center, McGill Bustamante Parkway. It's a whopping 10 miles, like I know that though. Not gonna be a rough night here. People gonna riot worse than before. Oh God, that's not good. Okay. My house. So yeah, about 45-mile trip from Colton to my house. And then add in Walmart Distribution Center, Temple, Texas. 1,439 miles, and it'll be a little bit less than 1,400 to cover. Let's look at ETS planner, ETA planner, 1440. Okay, so even if I do stop at the house, looks like it's still suggesting I come across I-10 to get over there. Which I'm okay with that, man. Well, I like driving night shift anyway, so. Let's see, 12, 14. We'll say about 15 or 1,600 today. Do the 14th at 7:30, I think it was. Yeah, 7:30 in the morning. Okay, yeah, so even if I did an extra 10-hour break, I'd already have to plan in. Well, actually, I'd already have to plan in 2 10-hour breaks regardless, so. Yeah, if I do an extra 10-hour break, that'd still put me there by around midnight. And good 7-8 hours early. Sounds good. I can, yeah, maybe go to the house, spend 10 hours there. It's assuming the load's ready though. If I have to sit and wait for it, it's gonna complicate things, and I'll have to run some miles. No, the prosecutor basically said today they have to prove intent. They wanted to kill George Floyd, but there's no proof of that. That's right, because they charged him with murder. And yeah, like you're saying, it has to be intent to kill for there to be for a murder charge to stick. Otherwise, it's manslaughter. And even then, it's you have to prove negligence, basically. That the negligence contributed to the death, and then that was a significant contributor to the death for manslaughter charge to stick. Or no, negligence or reckless behavior or anything like that. I was actually a juror in a vehicular manslaughter case a number of years back in Riverside. It was a fatal accident that happened in Moreno Valley. This fucking base station guy. Anyway, yeah, this fatal accident. Ironically, I was on my way home from work, taking the same route where the accident happened. Now, yeah, I was working at the base there, March Air Force Base, and then yeah, it was going across. There's a guy with the vest over here. I don't know. I thought maybe he was. Oh. Yeah, it was the guy you get. Like, he has like a little pad book thing, whatever, with what kind of service getting done here. It came up kind of close, but it never actually came up on my door, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah, the accident was now. If you look on the map in Moreno Valley, it was on Cactus Avenue, and I don't know, a couple blocks down from where Riverside County Regional Medical Center is at, over on the east side of Moreno Valley. But okay, in this case, it was a young female driving. It was a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit through the area. She came upon a light-controlled intersection, but she was doing about 70 miles an hour through there. Obviously a little reckless, a little too fast, but okay, but now for some reason she swerved, or at least appeared to have swerved when she got right at the intersection, and she was kind of, her skid marks kind of show that she was kind of halfway between the lanes. Yeah, this guy is coming back up. time. Okay, so guys that'll pull me in the rest of the way. I've seen them work 2 trucks in here at the same time before, but alright. Shut off the truck for now. Okay, so anyway, this accident I was talking about. Girl was going eastbound on Cactus Avenue. This happened at a time while I was at the base working, actually on duty. But anyway, yeah, she swerved. You know, when she was about halfway between the 2 lanes at the intersection, and just suddenly swerved to the left, and then went kind of veering off into the westbound side. And then, from what the testimony was, she froze up and let go of the steering wheel. And yeah, and then her friend in the passenger seat grabbed the steering wheel and started correcting the car back over to their own side of the road. Now, if she'd just let go and not touched anything and nothing ever happened, she would have gone over a curb and into a dirt field. But her friend grabbed the steering wheel and turned it back the other way, and in the process of going back the other way, they collided head-on with an older man going the other direction. I think the other guy had slowed down to I think they thought about 30-ish or so. By the time they impacted, but yeah, it still killed them. Yeah, and then the girl who was on trial was, she had permanent injuries from that accident. Yeah, she needed help getting around. Her mom and whoever it was were with her, had to help her, you know, pretty much all along the way. But, alright, so, yeah, they had her on trial, basically saying that her speed was the ultimate cause of the accident. Yeah, because you know, the cops, I guess, did some calculations based on the skid marks. 68 points mile when that happened, and it was the defense attorney or the public defender showed that. There was, if you're on the side street that she was coming up to at the intersection, if you're at let's say in the right turn lane waiting to make a right turn, you look over in her direction, there's a big white comm box there at the corner that restricts your view of what's coming over there. And long story short, when we eventually got to deliberations, 6 of us we're convinced that they had the wrong person at the defendant's table. We think that this particular guy who was waiting to make a right turn at the intersection, that he may have made the right turn in front of her, not knowing that she was coming, and yeah, had limited visibility and just decided to go anyway. And like, well, what'd she swerve for? You know, because they were trying to make it sound like she was out of control, but no. If she's out of control, you're gonna see like a chattery kind of skid mark. This was kind of a more smooth, circumferential kind of skid mark, like somebody cornering at a high speed and experiencing a little bit of high oversteer. It's like I wasn't born yesterday, guys. I know what an oversteer condition is like, and even when they explained that it was a circumferential thing, so yeah, it was consistent with them swerving or whatever, but it's like, okay, watch sometime. Get your vehicle out of control on some asphalt and look at what kind of tire mark gets left on there. It'll be a chatter, kind of stuttery like that. This was not that kind of skid mark. It was, like I said, it was a little bit more of a smooth, just arced kind of look to it. So like, this is not somebody's out of control. This is somebody who swerved. Now let's put a little bit of thinking power into this. Why would they be swerving? Because somebody tried to say that she was veering toward the curb, but because what happened was the lane, the eastbound side, it was one lane and then it opened up into two lanes. I don't know, maybe a few hundred feet away from the intersection, and then it looked like she decided to come over to the right lane. You know, kind of toward the last minute, and then the guy made, in my opinion, the guy waiting to make the right turn, even though he said on the witness stand that he didn't make his turn until after she had already passed by. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on that. I think he was lying, and so did most of the other people in the jury. We were, at least 6 of us were convinced that this guy actually did make his right turn and caused her to swerve and cause the accident. So even though he was never involved in it, the fact that, but there was no witness testimony to confirm that whether or not he had made his turn. One of the prosecution witnesses was a girl who was at that same intersection waiting at the red light in the lane next to the guy making the right turn, but she was looking left, or she said she was looking left and had no idea if the guy in the right turn lane had ever actually made his turn. So there was no one to really prove that, hey, your dumbass caused it. So we get to deliberations. 6 of us were automatically right off the bat thinking we want to quit. Because, we're convinced that the wrong person's on trial. We think the guy making the right turn should be the one on trial, not her. Now, her speed was incredibly stupid. No, make no mistake about that. She had no business doing 70 miles an hour in a 50 zone, but still had the problem there. She had a green light. Then you don't enter an intersection that is not safe to enter. In other words, if you're making a right turn on red and you can't be absolutely certain that you're going to make that turn safely, not cause an accident or get involved in one, then it's the onus is on you to not make that turn until you know for sure that it's safe. So, so that was my thought process. That was the thought process of at least half the jury. We had 3 others who were fence sitters. They weren't really sure which way to go. We got those to agree with us that we should quit because there's again, when you're in criminal court, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the crime occurred, or that the accused committed what happened. But there is a very reasonable doubt to believe that the guy at the right, in the right turn lane on the side street may have actually caused it. So by that definition, because we have reason to doubt that that she single-handedly or ultimately caused the collision herself, we had to acquit her. But we had 3 people on the jury who were just not buying it. 2 of them were truck drivers. They were the only 2 truck drivers in the jury, and they were just adamant it was her speed that caused it, and that's the only thing that could be. Okay, I'm a truck driver. I think driving 20 miles an hour as opposed to the speed limit is fucking stupid, especially in a residential area. It's not a residential area; it's an arterial street. But still, I mean, okay, I can buy doing 20 over the speed limit on an interstate when there's no traffic around you or when prevailing conditions are supportive of that. But in general, you got no business going anywhere near that speed on a surface street where there's traffic lights and stuff. You're just a fucking moron if you do that. So, I mean, that's what I think of her driving habits there. But that doesn't absolve the other guy of responsibility for not entering an intersection that he does not have the right of way to, and and cause an accident or possibly cause one. So we couldn't convince these 2 stubborn airhead truck drivers. I think the truck drivers just had a natural emotional view toward stupid four-wheelers, and I get it. I'm a truck driver now myself. I was not a truck driver at the time. I was an aircraft mechanic. But they say it's yeah, watching what's going on up here in front of me though. Yeah, it doesn't matter what emotional view you have. All right, so you might have an emotional view on people using their messing around on their cell phone while they're driving. But does that necessarily mean because maybe they were on their cell phone around the same time as an accident might have happened that the cell phone actually caused it, or the behavior with the cell phone caused it? No, not necessarily. And that's why I like having this extra dash cam up here facing in at me. That way, if something ever does happen, which I hope it doesn't, but I have this thing facing in at me, there's irrefutable evidence where I had my eyes and attention whenever something happens, and and it's proof right there. Hey, I had my eyes on the road. I was looking in the rearview mirror. Maybe I run into somebody or something, but it was looking somewhere other than at my phone. So, all right. Anyway, yeah, we ended up hung jury on that one because, yeah, like I said, those two truck drivers, and then the third guy was an older man who was kind of trying to relate to the guy who got killed and saying, well, somebody needs to be held accountable, and if she's the one on trial, then she must be the one who did it, who's responsible for it. Like, are you fucking serious? This is what makes me, which tarnishes my view of our justice system. When you got people who bias like that and think like that, that's not right. That's not giving somebody a fair and partial trial. Alright. This guy looks pretty much ready to. So, yeah, I ended up deadlocking on that. The judge ended up declaring a mistrial over it. I'll tell the rest of the story here when I get back in the truck later. Alright, here we go. Let me get my pickup info written down. Well, I still have a minute, so I don't have to worry about that later. Yeah, it's just more POs. PO is a purchase order number. Okay, so one of those two numbers should work. Because they changed the format they use at that at that DC, so sometimes forget which one they want. I think it's that 1096 number though. Alright, so as I was saying, they ended up declaring a mistrial, and I got a taste of how biased jurors can actually be, unfortunately, and how unfair people can actually be to defendants. Oh yeah, that's because is that how we do trials? We make assumptions that. We make dumb assumptions that the person is automatically guilty just because they're on trial? Yeah, it doesn't work that way, people. That's just messed up. Yeah, I ended up doing a mistrial, and then, and mind you, we had 9 in favor of acquitting, 3 in favor of guilty. Normally, something like that, a sensible DA... You got to understand this, that it costs money. It costs the government, the state and county or whatever government and all that, all these different people money to try these cases. And you don't want to waste the government's money on a case that you're not going to win anyway. Or that you don't have a really strong chance of winning. It's going to be so hard to find a partial fair jury to go to George Floyd. I agree. We'll talk some more about that because he's about done, so. It's on the steak. Hey, somebody. Alright. Yeah, so they give 2 receipts here when you pay for your washout. One of them you keep, and then the other one there's a little, like a steak, like a spike thing that's sitting on the I-beam over here in between my bay and the adjacent bay. And the truck doesn't move too well, and the parking brake is still set. Alright, I assume this guy is going to stop, but until I know for sure he's going to stop, I'm going to wait. Okay, well, yeah, Corey, I think you have a very good point there regarding that case. I've got one, maybe a couple of 4-wheelers. Can I get it out? Yeah, I'll fit in between these guys. Got a guy making a right turn out of this intersection behind to just ahead to my right though. And also had to watch, be mindful of. Okay. Anyway, so like I said, the DA has a duty to not frivolously try cases that are not that don't have a strong chance of winning. Even if they do have the right person on trial or suspected, whatever. If if they don't have enough there to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they can gain a conviction on that, they have a duty to not even try the case, even if it really is the correct person on trial. It sucks, that's the way it goes, but I say people have a right to due process. They have, we all have legal rights here, including criminals, and much as that chagrins us sometimes. If steps are not followed properly by law enforcement, prosecutors, or whoever, just a simple little technicality can cause a person to walk. And that's one of the other problems that exists with the George Floyd case too, is it's a very complicated case, and a lot of people think it's a very clear-cut situation, or no, it is not. Far from it. You are out of your mind if you think that that's a cut and dry, very simple case, and it's far from it. And I have expertise in the area of chokes, because of my jiu-jitsu background, and I will tell you where Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck, you cannot possibly tell me that he was restricting George's ability to breathe. I'd had it on his jugular and carotid on the right side of his neck, I think it was the right side of his neck, wasn't it? One side of his neck, but not the other. That shouldn't have even really been enough to knock him out. Because he was going back and forth between right on the side and the back. So, and I don't know, man, there's a lot of, unfortunately, Derek Chauvin does not help his situation there with his history either. And how much do you rely on what actually went on right there on the spot? Now, how do you prove that he had a motive to kill him? Or that what he did even had anything at all to do with him dying? Now, make no mistake, I'm not saying that George Floyd should have died. He definitely should not have died, but it gets a lot more complicated situation than a lot of people make it out, than Facebook prosecutors make it out to be. Alright, so anyway, going back to the case I was talking about, with the trial that I was a juror on, I remember I looked up the case. I was watching the case after we got released from it, to see what the DA was going to do about it, see if the DA was going to just drop the charges, or if they're going to refile the charge, and try to retry it with a new jury. Frickin' dipshit. He decides to retry it, knowing full and well that 9 of us were in favor of acquitting. I guess maybe he thought that he'd just do a better job of picking his jury on the retrial, and he'll have a much stronger chance. But because we also gave a lot of feedback to a few of us gave really good feedback to the public defender who was defending her. But anyway, he refiles the charge, and then I don't know what caused the girl to do it, but before I got a chance to go to trial again, she just ended up deciding to change her plea to guilty. I guess for some reason she just made the dumb decision of I don't want to go through this anymore, I just want it over with, so I'll just plead guilty to this charge, and and be good. But now she's permanently got a felony on her record for something that, in my opinion, she could have been acquitted for. And legitimately so. I don't know, maybe she felt responsible for the fact that she was speeding and that the speed could have had a role in it, but then, yeah, I was also doing the math on it. It's very simple algebra. Distance equals rate times time, and you can, if you know what kind of distance we're working with, and we estimated about 200 feet of visibility from the right turn lane, we based this on the fact that the impact point on the coroner report was 310 feet east of the intersection, and based on where, you know, how far we kind of guesstimated where her position would have been when she would have first been visible to the guy in the right turn lane, that probably would have been about 200 feet from the intersection. So I did the distance equals rate times time calculation, because hey, now we know the distance. And we know what rate she was going, because they said she was doing 68 miles an hour. So you do a little bit of simple algebraic math and some conversions, you know, to go from miles per hour to feet per second, and ended up being I think about 3/4 of a second difference between how fast she would have reached the intersection at the speed limit versus how fast she would have reached the intersection at the speed she really was going. 3/4 of a second difference. Do you think that would have really made that much of a difference if somebody we had reason to believe may have made a right turn on red in front of her to cause this? I don't think, I'm just not convinced that the speed was enough of a factor there with that kind of a difference in time. Assume that that's what it was, is she just wanted to get it over with and perhaps felt responsible because she did contribute in a way with her speed, but it doesn't mean that she was a significant contributor. And for a vehicular manslaughter case to stick as a legitimate conviction, all of the following have to apply. All of them. If even one of them does not apply, you don't have a right to convict. Okay, first, there has to be an accident. Another, the accident has to have resulted in a fatality. Next, it has to have been, the law enforcement had to have given a citation to somebody. Next, the citation that was given has to have been found to be a significant contributor to the incident, to the accident causing a fatality. And since we don't, since most of us were under the impression that, yeah, she was, obviously she was speeding, but was it significant? We say no. Or most of us said no. So, by that rule, you have to acquit. And this woman in the Maxima, whatever that thing is an idiot. What the fuck are you doing following Werner that closely? You know, Werner has no idea you're back there probably, because I guarantee you Werner cannot see you where you're at. You're right in the middle of the lane and that close to him, I guarantee you they cannot see. Even when you're following further back, if you're right in the middle of the lane, I still oftentimes cannot see you. So I say, if you're going to follow a truck at all, leave more space, and on top of that, don't be right in the middle of the lane. Either be off to the right side of the lane or be off to the left side. Preferably the left, that way you can see around us a little bit, and there's a much better chance we'll see the side of your car. You don't want to follow us on, you don't want to be on the right side ideally, because if, let's just say there's right shoulder traffic, and we're not able to get out of the lane for that right shoulder traffic, and you're kind of sticking out into that right side so we can see you, What do you think happens there when you come upon that right shoulder traffic? Oh my God, all of a sudden there's this person on the right shoulder you're crashing into that you had no idea was there. Okay, so back to Corey's. Come on. Move your ass. Get that dumpster piece of shit out of here. I use this overrun space here to keep my tandems out of the adjacent lane, so nice looking. Turn from the lane doesn't have to worry about getting waiting for my trailer to go by or whatever. They shouldn't have to. Okay, but going back on Corey's statement about the George Floyd case, there was actually I was just listening the other day or yesterday or whatever it was. It was basically an update about the old Chapo Guzman case. You guys all know who El Chapo is. He's in a federal prison in Colorado, the highest security prison trial, because specifically, I think there was one or more people in the jury got a lot of their information about the case from the news media. And they were allowed to form judgments about him before they even got to the trial. So, and they were, I guess they were admonished explicitly to not rely on news data, on news media reports about him or his case. So the fact that they admitted to actually getting a lot of information about him from the news, even though they were told specifically by the judge do not, it's given the defense an argument in favor of an argument that, hey, we need a retrial here because some of the jurors were not given he wasn't given a fair and impartial trial because of that. See, any kind of little stupid technicality like that can let a person off. You cannot do that kind of stuff. And then look at another case, the Scott Peterson case. I'm sure you guys may have heard something about his case recently. I had a couple articles up about his case just last week, I think. For those of you, if you're not familiar with the Scott one, it was up in Northern California, Bay Area, whatever, and basically he killed his wife and daughter, the unborn daughter, if I remember right, and basically tried to sink their bodies down into the bottom of the ocean. You know, he took his boat out into the Pacific and tried to hide the evidence there in the ocean. Alright, so they didn't, I mean, now the defense, a long time now, but he in the appeals process, he was granted a stay of execution and allowed to get off death row, at least temporarily, while they re-adjudicate the case in the appeals court, whatever. I knew you were going to make that light turn red on me. That's right, you just want me to finish my story time, don't you? Alright, so anyway, and the judge said that there is not even a chance in hell they did anything to prove that Scott did not commit the crime that was committed, but because of some technicality, they he was. He was compelled. They were compelled to let him out of death row and put him in a regular prison. And now I guess he's trying to get the general population on top of it. But again, technicalities. Gotta do things right, otherwise a guilty person walks. And also because of technicalities, innocent people end up in prison. We have a screwed up system. That's just, unfortunately, the way it is. I try it right. Yeah, it's serviceable. I've had it for quite a few months, actually. That always gets people concerned. Good eye, though. Take it easy. Yeah, I have a cut in the corner, right where the end of the tread area on my right steer tire is, and it's a natural concern for a lot of people because you don't want to blow a steer tire in a truck. And anyway, yeah, just naturally a cut that's right by the sidewall is going to scare people, but sometimes looks can be deceiving. And what the cut criteria is for the out-of-service, CVSA out-of-service criteria, that as long as you don't have any reinforcement material exposed or cut through, that it's serviceable. And in my tire's case, the reinforcement material is not visible, at least as best I can tell from my pre-trips. So by that rule, it's serviceable, and I have plenty of wear left on it still, so I intend to just let it run. Leave it alone like it is. Maybe when it gets a little more worn down and I get a better look, the way it's cut, it's hard to tell. It's kind of like a curved cut. I ran over some sharp object on the road quite a few months back. You can always tell who's been here and who hasn't. Like this guy in the Kenworth right here, I'm going to be next to, probably has not been here before, or doesn't have a lot of experience with this place. Might not know that, usually Walmart DCs, the OTR trucks are always supposed to be in the lane further away from the guard shack. So let me send my arrival call. We're in Colton, of course, for those of you guys who don't know. Colton, California. It's 12:32 local time. Arrived at my shipper. It's more than 6 hours late for the pickup. Like I said, somebody else I think was assigned to this load and dropped off it or something because they asked me if I could cover it, which usually means that this was somebody else's load and for some reason they had to get pulled off it. Maybe, like I said, could have had a maintenance issue with their tractor, could have been sick or whatever. In fact, there is somebody I know, I don't know where he's at, but there's somebody I know here at our company who's been throwing up like his whole last shift, and kind of makes me wonder if maybe I'm covering his load or something. I forget where exactly he was at, but he was like all too happy to finally be done driving, and I know that routine. I've had to drive sick before, and it sucks. Speaking of that, been sick one time when I was with England, and then one time when I was with JCT. I've been driving for 4.5 years, so it tells you I don't really have much of a reputation for getting sick at all. Let me double check to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Hey, Kat. How you doing? Alright, so Corey D, they dismissed the DA today because he's a potential witness. Oops. Yeah, that would be a conflict of interest, that's for darn sure. And how was the DA a potential witness? Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Maybe the DA had, I don't know, maybe some kind of knowledge, like maybe at the nightclub where, because there was that point in time where Derek Chauvin and George Floyd worked together at that nightclub or bar or whatever it was, wasn't it? Yeah, and if I remember, George Floyd was like the outside security guy, and then Derek Chauvin worked inside or something like that. If I remember, I don't remember. But yeah, I'm really curious how the DA figures into that. Interesting. Alright, Corey, you gotta run to the store, be back soon. If you're still streaming, yeah, assuming the load is ready to go right now, yeah, I'll at least be streaming, get up to my house, and then I'll, yeah, may shut down at the house for 10 hours, and then drive in the middle of the night, or may start moving back to the east, but I'm kind of leaning towards shutting down for 10 at my house. So, because I have time to work with where I can do an extra 10-hour break and still get there a handful of hours early. Not like maybe like seven or so hours before delivery time. Ideally, I'd like to be there where I can do a 10-hour break before delivery and then deliver it and then run off a fresh clock right away. But a recap situation, it probably won't hurt anything for me to kind of sit on it a little bit either. Alright, how you doing, Cheryl, Tom? What else we got? That's you covered for 24 hours. Doing anything when sick sucks. Yeah, that's true. And when I get sick, I get really sick, unfortunately. No, like I say, there's 2 times I've been sick while driving the truck. One, I was on the OTR side with England. It was probably, I don't know, late my first year of driving, I think. Something like that. Probably less than a year, but more than 6 months experience at the time. Anyway, yeah, I remembered, where did we come from? I know I was in the East St. Louis, Illinois area, somewhere in that general area, that Hershey plant over there. So knowing that, we probably had come from the Hershey plant over in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the Hershey headquarters. And I remembered I thought I was driving down I-44 from St. Louis toward Oklahoma. That's where I'm getting a little bit mixed up. But anyway, yeah, I remember I had a miserable time trying to drive. Cause I could only sit in the driver's seat for maybe a couple hours at a time. Then I'm like, okay, I'm in too much agony. I'm in too much pain. You know, the aches and all that and chills. It's like I gotta get out of the seat and lay down or something, get some rest, and then move the truck again. Do what I can with it. Get some more rest, move it again, get some more rest, and kind of play that routine. And then got the load delivered on time, but it wasn't easy. And then I let my DM know when we got through making the delivery. That's what it was. Because we delivered to the Hershey plant over there, and it's not East St. Louis, but it's right there by East St. Louis, on the Illinois side of the river from St. Louis. Can't remember the name of the town there. But this guy's moving forward, so about time for me to check in. Yeah, I let my DM know, hey, there's something wrong with me. I'm like sick. I can barely stay in the driver's seat for a couple hours at a time, 2 or 3 hours at a time before I have to stop and rest. So he said, that's all right, don't worry about it. Just get better. Don't worry about running any loads, kind of stuff. And hang tight. I'm gonna check in. Should drop it in E and F like we usually do. Drop hook. backing footage to save to the dash cam. Now, more reason I want to get to the house too. I need to get my haircut badly. Yeah, she asked me, "Have you dropped your reform?" Like, you're funny. I was like, I've been here so many times. Yeah, I know this place very, very well. God, England, are you gonna do a U-turn setup or what? I don't know what he knows how to do a U-turn setup. A lot of people don't. And he's set up a little bit far away. I feel like he might be waiting for me to go by too, so come on over here to give him space to start a little bit sooner. Yeah, I think that's what was going on. Is he was intentionally waiting for me to go by. So yeah, he's starting a U-turn setup right now. Oh, he's actually trying to do a straight back. Well, I'm not surprised because not very many people, not too many people on sleeper cabs know how to do U-turn style setups. And that's what's funny though, is they're so freaking easy. Very, very easy to do. Just people don't know how to do them. Alright, we've got a truck on the scale right now, so how about... Right. Space. Windows down. That trailer dive in at the best angle possible into that spot. I thought I'm going to be late chasing it possibly. I think we're good. Maybe just a hair late. So, pull forward so I can have that trailer pointed in the direction I want it to be pointing. And I can make little adjustments on the way back. I do see some of our trailers in dock doors, so I'm hoping mine is not one of them. Hopefully mine is in row H. Hovering over that mound right there in front of me. Dropping my airbags. Waiting for my pressure to drop to 0. That confirms that the landing gear is down on the ground, and get in that habit. If you have one of those gauges, you'll never have to worry about dropping a trailer because you forgot to drop the landing gear or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I can also use that when I'm coupling into a trailer to make sure that I'm not there. There's no way I'll ever have a high hook incident either. Some people, unfortunately, have high hook incidents. I've even heard of it happening to people with a year or more of experience. It surprises me. Like, how many times have you hooked up to a trailer and not realize that you can feel the your back end of your tractor squatting underneath the trailer? If you can't feel that going on, it's time to stop and double check that you're actually that your trailer's not sitting too high. That's why we use all the space over here. Do a good butt hook. It should. There's one of our guys there. Oh, he got one of those kind of shirts on. That's interesting. That's not a very heavy load he's got there. I mean, it's kind of up there, but it's not all the way to the back, so... Oh, that's the yard jockey. That's why he's dressed like that. Turn off the 4-ways for now. Start my thing, and just in case they need my phone number, I'll put it on there. Well, it's always a good sign when I have my, when I come back out of the building with bills on my head. Alright, 6367 is the trailer I'm looking for. Probably be in row H. Alright, so yeah, like Tom was saying though, even with even with the gauge, it still happens, and that's because people don't pay attention. It's I mean, even without a gauge, it should be very obvious. Come on. Get back into your spot first. Anyway, like I say, if you have any bit of freaking attention to detail, which it doesn't take much at all, you can feel your fifth wheel going underneath the apron and the weight of the trailer pushing down on the back of your tractor. So really, to me, there is absolutely zero excuse whatsoever for having a high hook incident. Even if you're not very well trained, you should still be able to recognize that detail very easily, but people don't. Yeah, not that much. Not these. Is it this one? Nope, not that one. Let's see some more JCTs down the lane a little further. So to me, you have no, not that one. There it is, the second one out of these two right here. Start my turn right before I get to my trailer. I had to make sure, look in my mirror to make sure nobody was coming up behind me. Alright, I'll see him lined up perfectly with that trailer. You guys can't see it on the live stream, but when I get the backing footage, when I get the footage later on, off my dash cam, you'll see it. Okay. Okay, I didn't feel much there on the, I can feel that it was going underneath, but it's not a lot. Something else, since I haven't, so it's not a lot. I'm not going to hook in until I raise the landing gear first. 30 PSI, that's not enough. Basically, it means I have more than the empty weight of the trailer sitting on it, but it's almost certainly not going to be. I haven't even looked at how much the load weighs. 35,961. So I'll probably be right in the ballpark of 70,000 pounds when I scale it. But yeah, this didn't really feel like it put much of a squat in. I didn't have to lower my airbags to get underneath it, and which actually, if it's done well, I should have to drop my airbags a little bit to really nicely get underneath it. And then once I'm under it, raise my airbags back up, and it'll lift the front of the trailer up. It'll also get the landing gear off the ground, and makes it a hell of a lot easier for me to crank the gear up. That's why I can't stand when people drop the landing gear all the way to the ground. Scotty talks about the same thing. So, alright, hang tight. I'm going to get hooked up. Low gear to crank that because it was a little rough. So Go back under it. I want to listen for it latch too. Okay, tug test. Tug test is not to make sure I'm hooked up properly. It's to make sure the trailer brakes work properly. So, look it out. Get your ass underneath this trailer and look. Do a visual inspection. Make sure our latch is in there right now. The latch is shut properly. You do not do that step, can't guarantee you won't drop the trailer. I know somebody who dropped the trailer even though they did a tug test, but they did not do a visual. Actually, I know multiple. I know quite a few people have done it. Check the light up there. Somebody hit this trailer before. Now you see up there in the corner, there's a dent right there. Probably. Do a quick little visual. Tires look good, and this is a fairly newer trailer. All our 6,000 numbered trailers are newer. Check airbag, security, if all the suspension leaks. Yeah, look at everything else. Brakes. Have a lot of good wear on these brakes because it's a newer trailer. It's good. Okay. Auto slack adjuster right here is pinned. This side is pinned. Lots of stuff to look at here. Make sure you don't get violations or put out of service if somebody inspects you. Also have to check the registration on this. Okay, as you noticed here, there's a seal on this trailer. Like I said, that's a yard seal, not the one I'm leaving with. So I'm gonna break it. Oh, I don't have my lights on, and I have my turn signal on, or I don't have a good pigtail connection. Those lights should be on. That one's flashing on and off. It's not flashing between bright and dim. Clearance lights are not on at all, so it's one of the other ways you can make sure you're configured right for pre-trip. You can't do an effective pre-trip on a trailer if you don't have the lights turned on to check it with. Yeah. Okay, so I have four ways on. This was in the middle. This tells me it's the pigtail. Yeah. Now I can see it. I can see it flashing now. So I'm gonna have to shim that pigtail to make sure it's tight, so I don't have any problems while I'm driving with this side failing to flash like it's supposed to. If that one doesn't flash, then the one back here is not gonna flash either. It's not an out of service condition because you can still see the tractor side marker lights flashing and the tail light flashing. but it is a violation. Now, well, all our lights are good. I don't know if I'm giving you guys a really good view of all this, because I can't really change the camera view with my gloves on. Alright, so we're good here. I'm gonna have to put my my load locks in, so I'm gonna put you guys down right in here somewhere. Or how about? Okay, this is something that Cody and I were just talking about the other day too, about the little telltale signs of how well the weight is distributed before I even leave with this load. I got plenty of space here between the last pallet and the back of the trailer. It's not going to be a very tail heavy load. I don't know how many pallets I got. Probably 24, maybe 24. I have room for 28. So based on that, I'd imagine there's 24-ish. It's what I usually end up leaving here with. And if there's that much space, I'm pretty certain that I'm not going to have a problem with needing to slide the tandems back. But I do need to be concerned about how front heavy it is. And it's not likely that's going to be a problem. Especially not with a 35,000 pound load. It could be overweight there. But I wouldn't bet on it happening. I'm going to go across the scale anyway, just to double check what kind of weights I have. And this scale here is, I know for sure is accurate, so, because I've been here so many times. So I'm gonna, go across the scale, and that'll be all set now, all I need to worry about with this. Once I've done that, be ready to get up the hill with this load, try to get it up there before the rush hour traffic starts getting up there, especially Friday nights. Yeah, I don't want to deal with Friday traffic, so that's another reason why I'll probably kick back here. Have a kick back at the house. Hey James, I thought you were already on here earlier. The look at the latch is not taut here. Uh-oh, that's not good. Alright, so let's get over to the scale, check the weights, and once this thing wants to release, I see a bobtail coming out from between a couple of trailers over there. Dolly wall. Check the security of my deer guard as well when I go to install my lock. backed into a spot. Interesting. Alright, got 11,200. Come on. It's like 41,400. Something, 41,100 actually. That's just under 30,000 pounds on the drives. That's not very much. Definitely no question this is going to be easy load here. 69. Say 69.1. Okay, so 30,000 on the drives, 28,000 on the tandems. Easily within limit. Hey, Lana. What exactly are you doing, Walmart? Come on, dude. Probably just sending us departure information or something. Distance for her to walk. Oh, I gotta get up there. At least get where my doors can close. Alright, there you go. Send departure information and get the hell out of here. Plus 34 reefer setting. Plus 35 continuous. Assorted produce. New Amazon music recommendation. Sometimes I don't like the recommendations. Trip number 184 11, 12 1096 1030 35 960 or something like that. Oh, let me see the last page. 26 pallets, okay. Sorted produce. 435, yes. 6367. Drop 6507. Seal number 6298361. 4 on the fuel. Okay. Let's get moving. Hey, how you doing, Philip? I just got through picking up at Walmart in Colton. Getting out of this. Now let's get the hell up this. Get the hell up the Golden Pass before it gets bogged down with heavy traffic. Philip, anybody else more recently tuned in? Also Terry. Anybody else watching? Not sure what's going on. I just picked up in Colton. My load is going to Temple, Texas. I'm covering somebody else's load, I believe. It's not due until the 14th at 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to head up to my house, do a 10-hour break at the house, and otherwise get some, do some night driving, and yeah, I can also get my hair cut, whatever, while I'm up there. Not have to deal with weekend traffic trying to get out and have their fun, or minimize how much of it I'm dealing with, and then and then start heading across sometime tonight, early tomorrow morning, whatever. Yeah, I guess it'll be early tomorrow morning. Where'd you go? There's another plus too. Maybe even get some laundry done. Contract against another very effectively because they all come in different forms. You know, I was telling somebody who just came to us from Swift, she has prior lease experience. She was saying I think her truck payments at Swift are like $650 or up above $650 a month. Never, not a month, but a week. So I told her, yeah, you know, when you have weeks where you don't get miles, you're going to have a more largely negative settlement that week. But then the weeks when you do run a lot of miles, you'll get a larger, you know, you'll take home more than you will with us. Like with us, we don't run very many miles. If you get a negative settlement at all, it won't be as much. But then when you run a lot of miles, you'll make a larger truck payment. And yeah, with regular lease contracts, they usually have a balloon payment that you have to make before you can buy the truck from the company. With us, you don't have a balloon payment. You just pay $1. That's it. So, like I said, there are pros and cons, and I like the overall family atmosphere here, and obviously I love the route network because I'm home all the time, even without asking for time off. But people think that money's the only thing that takes to make someone meet somebody's needs. But what if a company pays a driver adequately, but they treat him like shit? You don't want to hang around a place like that. safe into that gap here between me and the Subaru. Space in front of me. When you were just camping out right behind my trailer, you could have dropped in behind me. You idiot! And then you get to come over in the space in front of me. When you were just camping out right behind my trailer, you could have dropped in behind me. You idiot! And then you get to come over in the space in front of me. When you were just camping out right behind my trailer, you could have dropped in behind me. whatever that where they allowed them to pick that color. I don't know what the situation is, but yeah, it's like the only color in our entire fleet.
DHL supply chain. Now we do pickups from there as well sometimes. I tried to pick up the first load we had with them with JCT, but it got canceled. I think the shipper canceled it, or a customer or whatever. But I've also been there for pickups with Sierra England. It's not in the same part of picked up a little bit. It's only 1:38 here now. liked England overall. It was, like I said, I was in the Walmart fleet. It was good. And but that stupid that collision avoidance crap, and didn't want to do day cab work because I've done the day cab routes in the Walmart fleet and with a sleeper cab, and I didn't like it. It's all those little. One, it's not the dedicated route, regional routes there are not challenging my brain enough. I like the idea of having to trip plan my routes and not knowing where I'm going one route to the next. Just kind of realized that OTR is a better fit for my personal needs, but OTR was here, England was not. So, I did make some pretty good money in England though as a trainer. I actually made more there than I do here. People like to talk trash about England, but there's good money to be made there if you know what you're doing. Yeah. Evidence of a recent fire right here next to the next round I'm passing by now. Same thing about the Walmart driver. Why does everybody keep calling me Scotty? And then I go on Scotty's channel and people call him Scott. Yesterday I was on his feed and some guy was saying, "Hi Scott." I'm like, okay, you're talking to me because I've been chatting in the chat room, but you're on Scotty's channel. Jeez. Traffic already building up here. It's not even 2 o'clock yet. Are you in a dedicated fleet, or you do OTR, or what? I find usually you get someone with your kind of experience there, they're usually always in a dedicated fleet. Yeah, I still also talk to Scotty Wilkins every so often too, once in a blue moon. 138 closed at Angeles Lodge. It says State Route 38 though. Why would you have a Highway 38 sign here unless you're talking about 138? Highway 38 goes up from Redlands over around basically the south end of the mountain up to Big Bear. That's not even along this route. It makes no sense why they'd have that sign saying that here. And I know there was an accident earlier on 138 in between 15 and Wrightwood. Some idiot was driving too fast, I guess, and then lost control or something like that and caused an accident. Scotty B. Have you talked to him lately? I talked to Vader, and I think he said that Scott is no longer at the base. He's, I guess they finally booted him on the medical side. I don't know what he's doing now, because my understanding he's no longer there, though. Charles, to answer your question, I'm in a manual here. It's a 10-speed. That was the whole thing with me leaving. If I was going to leave England at all, it was going to have to be somewhere that I could drive a manual in. Ironically, JCT no longer buys manuals. They only buy auto shift. But I got there, I moved over quickly enough to be able to get a manual. I can tolerate auto shift, I just don't like it. And I got the weigh station coming up. I'm gonna watch pull in unless closed. Alright, so if the weigh station's open, I gotta go in. I'm getting lifting, it'll be closed though. I really don't see any trucks going into it right now, so it might be closed. Not quite close enough to read the sign. Better hurry up, pick up. No, move your ass. Find your throttle, get the fuck out of my way. Alright, scale's closed. Probably because that gravel truck in the way. Yeah, anyway, I can tolerate, but I don't like auto shift. And what are you doing, car? Shit. What is this car doing? Is that one of his CHP workers going to work or something, or are they stupidly trying to get onto 138 from the weigh station? 'Cause I've seen that before. But I made it a rule, if I can't have manual mode at least, there's no damn way I'm going to drive it. And I don't want anything to do with the truck that has collision avoidance on it. Don't take kindly to the truck trying to stop me when I don't need to be stopped, or slow down when I don't need to be slowed down, which happens. Yeah, before I left the Walmart fleet, most of the day cabs there were still 10-speed manuals. But they were just starting to phase some of them out, and what I think from talking to some of the people who are still over there, I think they're completely automatic now. Michael, yeah, I've not talked to him recently either. Should see what he's up to. The rest of you guys watching, Mike and I used to work together as aircraft mechanics at March Air Force Base. And the Scotty B or Scott B that he and I are talking about is somebody we both used to work with.
brakes on. You know what I mean?
Is that why the hammer lane just suddenly popped out?
You know what it was?
What's this? 3949 Foxtrot.
No, I was going around the oversized, you know, I want to move over, so I just made room for him. Kind of polite dude, like, you know.
I was kind of wondering why the hammer lane on the northbound side suddenly slowed down, but I just figured it out. It's somebody facing the wrong way on the southbound side. Southbound, you have right shoulder traffic right at the escape ramp.
We'll do anything to out of this place, sir. Going up the wrong side of the road. My buddy was complaining couldn't get a U-Haul to move out of California. I said, I didn't have any problem 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's hard to move out of the state when I got family here, though. Both mine and my wife's family are all here in Southern Cal, so it's. I mean, as bad as California is, and hey, you have bullshit with politics everywhere. Don't let it stress you out. Stupid people are everywhere, and you're gonna have to deal with their stupidity no matter where you're at. It's just on a whole different level here, maybe. And I just try not to get all caught up in that crap. Alright, so Mike, your friend was saying that's the guy with the prosthetic leg, I think, saying about 90% of the trucks out here are now auto shift. Would not surprise me. It's pretty much all of the mega carriers are either exclusively automatic now or auto shift, as we call it, or very largely auto shift and very few manuals. A select few companies actually will run a small percentage of their fleet as manuals for the drivers who still prefer manual, but yeah, a lot of, especially the puppy mill kind of companies, if you will, they have a strong preference for the auto shift. It's easier to train drivers how to drive an auto shift than it is to teach them how to drive a manual, obviously. So you don't have to worry about teaching them to shift at all. It's just a matter of teaching them how to drive the damn truck and back up and trip plan, weather plan, and other kind of stuff if the trainer's actually doing their job. Fortunately, a lot of trainers don't do their jobs. There's a lot of, well, it depends. Doesn't matter what carrier you're dealing with either. Some trainers do a good job, some don't. Take Sierra England, for example. They're notorious for having bad trainers with no experience, but that doesn't mean all of the trainers are bad. The guy who trained me had 19, almost 20 years of experience. And, and he did a really good job of it, too. Yeah, and then the quality of the training that I got, I transferred into other people when I became a trainer. Now, there are people who like to talk trash. You shouldn't be a trainer if you only have 6 months experience. Okay, well, let's think about this. Do you think trucking companies would be using 6 to 12 months experienced drivers as their trainers if they could actually find people with 5+ years of experience who actually were willing to be trainers? Of course not. Even Sierra England, they have a pretty good number of people who are with at least 5 years of experience. But most people with that kind of experience don't want to be trainers. No amount of money will convince them to do it either. So people need to get, there's a need for truckers in the industry, and there's a need for people to train them. So what do? new drivers in the industry, and there are enough drivers with more experience available to do the training, or willing to do the training, then you're going to see that standard go up. Same thing happens with military insurance. You guys, I'm sure, are all familiar with the ASVAB test. A lot of people don't know is that the ASVAB score requirement to get into one branch or another changes over time based on how much need that particular branch has for new recruits. Generally speaking, the Air Force does tend to have the highest ASVAB requirement, but it varies. Like I say, when there's a manning shortage, when they have a really bad shortage of people available, then they'll lower their standard and let people with lower ASVAB scores into their branch and into certain jobs that that have certain ASVAB score requirements, and then when they're having easier time finding recruits, they're going to raise the ASVAB requirement. That's the way it works. But people always get stuck on this little ideology about how things should go. But okay, now there's the problem. You're telling me what your idea of a utopia is. Okay, my idea of a utopia is probably the same, at least in that respect, but I live in reality, not in fairy tale bullshit utopia world. And, and I've come across drivers here who, you can have very experienced drivers who are damn good trainers. You can have very experienced drivers who are horrible trainers, and they set nothing but bad examples and teach a bunch of bullshit. And then you can have inexperienced trainers who are trained poorly and do a horrible job of and actually have a good amount of knowledge, at least, how to do things. Now, it's unfortunate. You get, because a lot of drivers in the industry get paid by the mile, and of course there's a motive now to run get the truck moving as many miles as possible so you can get paid more. So trainers a lot of times only want to have the trainee move the truck so they can get paid. Not a bad looking black Freightliner passing me right now. Sim Transportation, Henderson, Colorado. It's right there on the north end of, just on the north end of the Denver area. Up on the chat bit. It's too much traffic around me right now, so not a good time to be looking. You're not serious? Yeah, good. Reason why I moved over. Two jackasses never see my turn signal even when I have them on and won't let me over when I need to be over. I see a couple of trucks on the on-ramp. I see a valley. Yeah, shit. works. I wanted to move over, but I had traffic next to me. Yeah, he'd probably be mad at me, but too bad. You're merging with me, not the other way around. I'll give you professional courtesy if I can, but got kind of in a stalemate situation there. What do I do? Slow down or speed up? But there was already a good gap in between me and the truck in front of me, and I don't think Mesilla Valley was doing a good enough job watching what was coming up in the lane. Yeah, and me, when I'm in his position, I'm looking over this direction as early as possible, and I keep aware of the fact that I do not have right-of-way when I'm coming on the freeway, and I will move over the shoulder to make sure that the truck that I might have an issue with knows that I'm going to yield to him. Oh, we got some kind of slowing up here. Can't tell what's going on because I can't see around Star Nursery, but passing the Main Street exit right now. Yeah, I'm just getting, my spidey senses are telling me, yeah, see, we're getting a traffic break here. Is there something going on up here? Because it's unusual for the traffic to come to a stop right here. It can get kind of heavy, but I mean, sometimes I have seen it bog down a little bit just because of off-ramp traffic in Bear Valley Road, but normally there's some, when the traffic looks like this, there's something causing it. Like an incident of some sort. Rough Riders, isn't it? I think that's a motorcycle club, if I remember right. that the same one that a friend of mine is in. Better not be bogged down because of these clouds here. Like it just broke down or something. Is that a flat steer tire, it looks like? Oh, yeah. Possibly that. I can't tell. The right steer tire on that car might be flat. It's hard to tell though. Fly the coop for breakfast. Chicken McGriddles and chicken biscuits, whatever. Definitely not the Bear Valley exit, so the fact that it's moving now makes me think that all that bullshit was over that car on the right shoulder. If I know what David, I think it said Burton, but I can't tell the bounciness of the road. Get to a safe position, I'll double check what that word is. But if it's what I think it says, it's no, it doesn't really sound too familiar. Right here. Funny road. Anybody? Charles, you might be familiar with Maricold here in Victorville. Have you ever been to it? Because you guys do sometimes do loads. I don't know if it's into or out of Maricold here. Anyway, that same area, that complex where Maricold is at, is where I always park my truck. And I live only about a mile or so away from the Maricold. Stupid. It's not a bad thing to slow down for right shoulder traffic because you never know what they're going to do. I mean, they can suddenly walk into or near the travel lane and get hit and killed, which I've seen it already. Or on the I wasn't going to make a right turn on the Balsam. Alright, Mike, your question, I'm gonna shut down here for 10 so I can get a shower, do laundry and all that, hang out with the family for a bit, and then I'll roll tonight, middle of the night. Which works for me. I like nighttime driving anyway. I'll probably get tired and end up napping along this in the middle of the shift, but that's okay. It'll take me 500 miles at a time. Yeah, maybe if they're rolling sooner, and after I get done delivering over there. Alright, anyway, like I've talked about before, people on the right shoulder can sometimes suddenly pull out onto the road right in front of you as well. You remember Gino Rep from Age Shop? Pretty sure you remember. I know. I remember he was there when you were there. So I'd be pretty certain you remember him. I don't know if you remember what happened to him. A few more lights to go, and then they'll be stopped. You might not have heard me asking if you knew who Gino Rep is, or was. He worked at Age Shop. Now, anyway, the guy who Mike and I used to work with, not in our shop, but another one we dealt with a lot. This guy was on his way home from work. He was working up at Travis Air Force Base at the time and was on his way home to Simi Valley. Stopped on the right shoulder of Interstate 5 over in the Button Willow area. Goes to get back on the road, not wearing a seatbelt, and he pulled right, ricocheted off his seat and went through the windshield, was ejected and killed. And this is from someone who was on the right shoulder and suddenly decided to pull out onto the road in front of somebody else. That's why everybody should always move over, get out of the lane if you see someone on the right shoulder, if at all possible. About turning around and parking right there behind Swift, but I'll just go ahead and park right here. Yeah, that's basically what happened to him. Mike, I don't know, were you still there? Alright. I had a machaca for breakfast this morning over at Cowboy Burgers in Fontana.
definitely it's like getting gassy again, and it gets uncomfortable, and like, I have to tell my student I'm leaving. No, don't you still teach until 3? Isn't Kelly or this summer she'd come get me if you need to teach still, or what? Alright, anyway. Yeah, if you look up the name Gary Rep, Gary, and then REPP, there's an article about him. And I think it was like in the Bakersfield local newspaper, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, he was killed in a car accident. Well, when I was still working at the base, that might have been, I guess, after you had left, Mike. I don't remember what year you left and what year his incident was. Why not? I'm gonna go ahead and take a look. What year did you retire, Mike? I forget. Was it like 20? That wasn't 2011, was it? Pull it up. Gary Rep. I-5. Okay, so it was December of 2014 when he was killed. I got it on BakersfieldNow.com. 1 killed in crash on I-5 near Taft Highway. Okay, I'm familiar with Taft Highway. Charles, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that highway too. Especially OTR with England. I know England spends a pretty good amount of time on I-5 in Cali. That one person was killed after they were ejected from a pickup truck early Friday morning. That was back then. The pickup was coming off the shoulder on southbound I-5 near Taft Highway just after midnight when it was hit by an oncoming car. Okay, it was a car, not a semi. The person in the pickup who was not wearing a seatbelt was ejected. They were pronounced dead at the scene. He was later identified as 61-year-old Gary Lewis, Rep of Simi Valley. No one else was hurt in the crash. Okay, that was in December of 2014. Yeah, I don't remember what year you left. I left in 2015 when I retired, so... And I know you left at least, what was that? At least a good couple of... maybe a few years or so before I did, didn't you? I don't remember exactly when you left. I know it was before me, though. Alright. Charles, you live in Sacramento. Okay, so, yeah, you're familiar with that. And then, yeah, this guy Gary, oh, you left in 2013. Okay. This guy Gary, he was working at Travis Air Force Base, which if you live in Sacramento, I'm sure you're very familiar with Travis Air Force Base, or where about it is. Yeah, and he lived in Simi Valley. He was on his way home for the weekend. He basically worked up in Travis during the week, and then would go home to Simi Valley on the weekends. So, yeah, that's one of the risks you take. Stopping on the right shoulder. This guy looks like one of the England, not the JCT contractor. Southern County. No, that's not the same guy. He's got the same type and color of tractor as one of our local drivers out of our San Bernardino dockyard, though. So that name sounds familiar. Yeah, I'm sure you remember him. He's kind of tall. Not far. I think it was probably like 6'1", 6'2", something like that. Kind of looked, could have been like an Italian or Greek or whatever kind of looking appearance to him, I guess. Black hair, black mustache. I'll tell you what, the age guys were not fans of him because he was... I guess he was like blatantly open about what he would do with his stepdaughter. She was underage, of course, and like, yeah. So draw your own
draw your own conclusions about what I mean by that, and yeah, that's exactly what I mean. So, all right, I'm gonna have to go offline, get my stuff ready to go. As you see, my wife is almost here. Not here yet, but she will be here very soon. So I'm gonna get offline. Be here for about 10 hours. It's gonna be about 14:30ish. So about midnight, about 12:30, or about, let's say 12:30, 1 a.m., somewhere in that ballpark. I'll be ready to roll and get moving. I'll probably, I don't know, may or may not stream the first half, but then pretty certain the second half of the shift I will. You're on the clock, okay. All right, well, let me go offline real quick. I need to get moving ASAP then. All right, we'll see you guys later. Have a good night.